Okay, in this section, we're going to talk about how you breathe. This is going to be obviously quite a fundamental and important part of how you're going to produce a sound and how you're going to play. And also the things that we're going to talk about not only will be good for you as a saxophonist, but are going to be good for you as a human being. You know, we need to breathe in the right way. The first thing that we're going to need to investigate is how we're going to use our diaphragm to in effect sort of hold the air where we want it to be. Okay, it's all very well us filling up our lungs right to the top, but if we then dispense with that air straight away, it's gone. We're then left with nothing inside us. By using our diaphragms, we're going to fill our lungs, but we're going to use the diaphragm to in a way sort of portion the air out as we're going to want it, okay, throughout the note. And this is going to be really important for you because otherwise you're just going to run out of air straight away. Okay, so the best analogy that I can give you there is if you look at somebody playing the bagpipes. The deal with the bagpipes is that you've got a bag which gets filled up with air. You have a little pipe and you blow down it, and it fills and puts air into the bag, okay? And then you squeeze that air with your arm there, and it comes out on a chanter just here and makes the noise. Now what happens if the bag hasn't got any air in it? Well, there's no noise going to come out. And that's exactly the same position that is going to happen if your lungs are right on the bottom, empty, okay? You're not going to be able to continue to play and make the phrases if you haven't got the right amount of air still left into your lungs, okay? So this is what we're going to try and experiment with. Now, as I said to you, there are lots of self-help tutor books and stuff like that out there which deal with this quite in-depth subjects about how you breathe. There's lots of good exercises, you know, laying on the floor with a couple of encyclopedias on your stomach, legs slightly raised, you know, the kind of stuff which would actually get you breathing really, really well. And as I said earlier, it will be good for you as a human being. We all need to breathe better because it's actually good for our bodies. I mean, certainly over the years, children have been sent to brass and woodwind teachers because they've got asthma. And this has always been deemed as a good way for you to try and sort of combat some of the problems with asthma, because brass and woodwind teachers will show you how to breathe properly. Okay, so it's about keeping the air in using your diaphragm. Okay, so when you're going to breathe in like that, I've got plenty of air into my lungs there. I'm still going with it, but I'm portioning the air out. I don't need to breathe just yet. I'm still talking to you. I don't need it to go out just yet. Okay, I've still got plenty in there, still going and going and going, and then I can release the last little bit away. Okay. The next thing we would need to do when we're coming in to breathe on the saxophone is to obviously do that to start with, so that we've got enough air in us. But it's then how we're going to get this air and channel it down this small gap we've got here at the mouthpiece. Now, you can get various different sounds out of these things. Various different styles of playing require different sounds. But on the whole, most people want to try and find themselves a nice, rich, fat, rounded kind of sound here. And really the best way to go about this is to transfer the air that you're going to hold here using your diaphragm down here, really by opening your throat a little bit and really getting that, almost that kind of feeling where you're yawning and you're just opening the back of the throat there to really try and get some air into here. Okay, if you really constrict up in here, you will find that you'll get a slightly weaker sound, but it depends what you're after. As I've mentioned before, everybody's different. You know, the shape of our mouths, size of our lungs, all this kind of stuff differ from player to player. So it may be what works for you doesn't work for somebody else. So try all the different options. But this is a good way to go about it, getting some air in there. So if we blow a note here, we're going to fill up first of all. We've pushed the air nice and steadily into the instrument. So if we wanted to play a longer phrase there, there we've got a situation where we're nice and full from the beginning through the middle to the end. We don't want it to sound out of breath at the end. This kind of situation. We've actually run out. Here it is, nice and full. Okay? So, think about your breathing. There's a lot of this that you can do, even just laying in bed before you go to sleep every night. You can think about the way that you're breathing, take it on board, read your tutor books, really get the angle on this because it's going to be really important for you to get breathing right when you're playing this particular instrument, because especially if you're playing one of the slightly bigger saxophones like a tenor or even onto baritone, you've got to get a fair amount of air to push its way all the way down and through this tube here. Okay, it's not about blowing it all away, it's about channeling it and making sure that you've got enough left in there. So the diaphragm and the use of the diaphragm, you need to read up on this, is going to be absolutely key to the production of sound that you want to get.